Hi, and welcome to Acuity Acumen, where we illuminate leadership and inspire change. I am your host, Deanna Armstrong, and today we are exploring the intersection of strategy, innovation, and biotechnology with two esteemed leaders from Deloitte. Deloitte has been at the forefront of helping life sciences companies navigate complex challenges from market expansion and regulatory shifts to digital transformation and artificial intelligence. Joining us are Jarecke, Audit and Assurance Partner, and Ernest, Horany, Principal specializing in technology-enabled transformation within the life sciences sector. With decades of experience between them, they have helped organizations from startups to Fortune 10 companies scale, adapt, and lead in an ever-evolving industry. So whether you are an executive shaping the next major decision in your organization, or a leader interested in the future of life sciences, or a college student interested in a career in consulting, this episode is filled with insights you will not want to miss. So let us begin. Welcome to the podcast, Bonnie and Ernest. And Bonnie, how about we start with you? Tell us a little about yourself.
Sounds great. Thank you for having us here today. We're excited to be here. I'm Bonnie Jarecke, partner with Deloitte in our audit and assurance practice, and I have spent my career in the life sciences and healthcare industry. So I started my career over 25 years ago in upstate New York, spending time in Buffalo and Rochester, where I grew up, and I have been here in Dallas for about 9 years now. And in that time, I also have spent or had roles in the talent side of the house and supporting and developing our people, and that's been a passion of mine over the years as well.
Fantastic. So we'll have to get into that people leadership piece too. Thank you again. And Ernest, how about you?
Yes, happy to be here. Thank you, Deanna.
You're welcome.
Ernest Horany, a principal in our consulting practice. I've been with Deloitte 27 years now. I'm a Deloitte lifer. Started my career there right out of college, and I've been there ever since. The first 7 years worked with government organizations, and for the last 20 years I've been working with life sciences companies, mostly on technology-enabled transformation. I've spent a lot of time on both the West Coast and the East Coast, where a lot of our life sciences clients are headquartered. But I'm very excited about what's going on in the Texas area and starting to spend some time with Bonnie focusing on the life sciences market here in Texas.
Oh, well, awesome. Right. We want that to be successful here, which is the premise of this podcast that we have, to really put energy into this blooming biotech industry that we have here and let everybody know that we don't want to be a secret anymore. It's crazy that you all have been working for Deloitte longer than I have been alive, right? Just kidding. But I did, two words you all said to me that I would like to understand a little more. One person said partner and the other one said principal.
Oh, yes.
So what's the difference? What does that mean in the world of consulting?
Yeah. They're very similar in that we are both owners in the organization. However, I have a CPA license as a partner, and a principal does not. That's the biggest distinguishing factor.
Oh, what's the CPA? The protection environmental?
Certified Professional Accountant.
I'm just messing. I know.
For those that don't know, yeah.
So traditionally, we were founded as an accounting firm many years ago, and so that persists now with our audit insurance practice.
Yeah.
So that's the designation. Yeah.
And that's how most people know Deloitte from.
Absolutely.
And probably wondering, why are they talking about life sciences and all of that good stuff, right?
My dad was very surprised when I was graduating that I was interviewing with Deloitte because I did not have an accounting degree.
Yes, that's that attention to detail that I don't think I was quite blessed with either, Ernest. So no worries. And I would really, our conversation usually goes into two parts. The first, we'll talk a little more specifically about leadership and what leadership means to you in your leadership journey. And then second, we'll get more into what you all are doing in the life sciences sector from both of your points of view. Will that be okay?
That sounds great.
Okay, great. So let's start off with just talking about what pivotal moments have shaped your leadership philosophy. And we can start off with you, Ernest.
Sure. Yeah, it's, I don't know if there's one pivotal moment, but there are pivotal people that have influenced my leadership philosophy and how I approach leadership. I've had the good fortune of over 27 years of working with some great leaders, and I think every time you work with a great leader, you try and absorb what they do, how they interact with people. The commonality in the many great leaders I've worked with is that they are really good about kind of creating a vision, putting people in a position to be successful, but then letting them use their natural abilities and talents to do their work. And kind of
That takes trust.
It takes trust. It takes trust, and sometimes you have to get out of the way a little bit. I mean, I think there's a reason you hire these really smart people to be on your teams. It's because they're good at what they do. But the creating that common vision and kind of painting the picture of where we want to go and how we want to achieve it is kind of consistent across all the leaders I've worked with.
Yes. Do you think that's something that can be taught?
I think people can work on how they effectively do that. I mean, some people just come by it naturally. And we know those types of people. They can either be great coaches or great leaders in organizations or famous personalities that just kind of have that gift of communicating a vision and getting people rallied behind it. But I do think people can work on that skill and develop it over time.
Yeah. I think that's key. And a true gift, it really is.
It
To have that forethought to create that vision, and then to be able to communicate that in a way that people want to come along with you. And I like what you were saying, but good leaders give people the opportunity to do what they were hired to do. Right. I used to work for an organization, and we had new hire training. And we would bring people on. Do you know what it was called, though? We bring you on because of your background and all these great skill sets you bring. But it was called First Line Leader Assimilation. Right? We just said how we loved you for you and all the great things you're bringing and the talent, but now we want you to assimilate, like on Star Trek, right?
I was
We're on
gonna
board.
say, it sounds like a sci-fi movie.
Yes, assimilate. But that was literally the name of it. And we were on a culture team. We said, maybe we need to change that. Just simple nomenclature. And thank you for sharing that. And Bonnie, how about you? What are some of the things that shaped your leadership philosophy?
I would say something similar. I don't think there are specific moments, although there are certainly events and things that you go through that shape who you are as a leader, but it is people in my case as well. It's the mentors that I got to observe. It's, both ends of the spectrum. There are the leaders that you've worked with that you're like, I want to be like that person. There are also the other side where it's like, that's not where I'm going. That's not who I want to be.
Right.
And so I've kind of taken from both ends of the spectrum and figured out who do I want to be as a leader. And I think a lot of that is really coming alongside the people that are on my teams and projects. I want to be an approachable leader. And I think my teams would tell you they feel comfortable and safe in, the culture and environment that I create for them.
And I feel like I see that. I don't know if the people that I see around you are your team, but I see that when I see you out at different events, people are coming to you, and even almost how you nurture them along on this journey. And thank you for sharing that. And I know we were talking about biotech, but in general, what are some of the key ingredients that it takes for one to be a strong leader, in your opinion? And whoever wants to start can start.
I would say agility, being able to adapt to the circumstances around you. In my world, the audit world, there's often challenges and transactions and things that you're having to deal with, and being able to pivot where you need to and respond to the need at hand, I think is an enormously important ingredient.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Because the one constant is change.
That's right. It's so true.
Yeah, I think agility is extremely important. I also think the best leaders I've worked with are very good communicators. You mentioned being able to communicate that vision. So very good communicators, but also really good listeners. When you're working with a team, sometimes you'll hear something from a team member and you need to know, like, hey, maybe they're not telling me the whole story, or they're afraid to tell me the whole story. Like, let's maybe dig into that a little more, make sure they're comfortable sharing what they know about the project or about the effort we're working on. So listening, I think, is a really important trait for good leaders.
Right, like a second level listening.
Yeah.
Okay. And I like that you say that, the agility, the listening part, it all comes together, right? And it can be a strength, and it doesn't have to be that all leaders have all these things, or do you think all leaders need to have these ingredients?
I think they're helpful, but I think everyone is on, it's a continuum, right? Like every leader is going to be a little bit different, and that's kind of the beauty of the teams that we have around us and the different skill sets and diversity of thought that you bring to something. So there may be strengths and challenges that every leader has, and leaning into those that are the strengths, I think, help propel them forward as a leader.
Yeah, and also recognizing that your leadership style might have to change or pivot
Yeah,
based
yeah.
on the team you're working with. You know, not everyone likes to be engaged with in the same way. So some, like I have team members that when I talk to them, we talk about kind of their personal life and what's going on outside of work for a little while, and then we get into project stuff. I have others that like to be very direct, and they don't want to talk about small talk. They want to just like, let's get into project work. And so you have to kind of adjust your style based on what's going to resonate with the person you're engaging with. And so that kind of goes back to agility, right? And adaptability, being able to adjust when needed based on who you're engaging with.
I don't know why this just came to my mind. Like, so is there a risk of being everything to all people? And how do you balance
Well,
that?
there's the classic, you please everyone, you please no one.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, leaders do have to be true to themselves around who they are and what's their predominant style of leading and how they like to engage with teams, while still having some flexibility built into that. I think if you kind of try and please everyone, ultimately you'll lose your way a bit. So I think it's a very valid point of stick to your North Stars in your leadership philosophy, knowing that you can pivot, some around those.
Yeah, I agree. I think part of that too is transparency, right? And where you can't be all things to all people, being clear why and helping people along and understand why do you take the position that you do. If people have a framework to work in, it gives some level of structure and comfort as to what's ahead. And I think that's a big part of being leader is, helping people feel comfortable where they are and that they, that the ship isn't sinking. We're all in this together. We're going to be able to move forward well.
Great.
And I even got to thinking, you get to see leadership your internal structure, as well as you've worked with multiple people around probably the world.
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool. And then you can take some things and put them into your repertoire and all of that.
Absolutely. That's one of, I think one of the attractive things about it, specifically the consulting work that I do within our consulting business, is people know they're going to have this breadth of experience and work with different clients and see how companies work kind of from the inside. And so you start to pick up, oh, wow, that's a really great idea. Or I love the way they do performance management right at this company. And so you try and store those nuggets away. And it's a great benefit of the jobs we have.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's exciting, actually. One of the things you mentioned as far as strengths is progression. And you in particular, can you help us understand a little more about your journey and how you became partner?
Sure. Yeah, I think a few things that propelled my journey or helped me get to where I am are taking on stretch assignments, saying yes to new opportunities, even if I didn't feel like I was the one that was qualified for it, and recognizing that if I'm being asked to do something, there is a level of support, and we want this person in that position. So I think leaning into that and taking on assignments that stretched my personal and professional development were a big part of it. And then, of course, having leaders around me that pushed me forward and supported me. We can't get into this position without a whole big group of people around us. Our teams that, support us, as well as the leaders that, really pave the way for us, help us along, and offer their support.
You said something interesting. You said that you went for those stretch assignments even though you didn't feel like you were necessarily qualified for it. What advice do you have for women, like young women that are looking to be partner or just to be promoted to that next level, about kind of what you just said?
Yeah, I guess I would just add on to it, just be willing to take on a new opportunity, and also know when to say strategically no. Something might not be the right fit, or be what takes you to that next level. So understanding what are your priorities and working around that. It's also kind of working yourself out of a job, right? Like you can't go to the next level without bringing someone along behind you to fill in where you were. So I think a big part of whether male or female, when you're working toward the next level, it's preparing the followers behind you who will support you as a leader, but also that will be able to sit in your position and preparing them, developing them along the way.
Like lifting as you climb.
That's right. Yeah,
Your
that's a good way to
do
put it.
your own
Yes.
succession plan.
Right.
Succession plan.
Very
Exactly.
important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And keeping on that realm, as a female leader in a traditionally male-dominated field, what are some of the insights you can share? I know you shared about the path to leadership,
Yep.
but are there any other nuggets that you want to share that you feel like you had a unique perspective?
I think being vocal about what you want to do, being, embracing the seat at the table. You're there for a reason, and just owning that space. But keep moving forward, keep challenging yourself. That's right.
I appreciate you sharing that with us. And then Ernest, for you, you have a lot of experience, right? 25, 30 years? 27 years,
yeah.
like longer than I've been alive.
Right.
You have extensive experience in the consulting industry. How do you approach being an ally to your colleagues, to your female colleagues?
Right.
So from your perspective, how do you help?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is what Bonnie said. Like, I want them to be vocal, and I want them to be their authentic selves, and let me know what works for them and what doesn't. Especially if it comes to assignments or roles or travel or no travel. That's always a challenging one in our business. We are very often on planes flying around the country, and it's challenging for both men and women that have families and small kids. And so I think the way I try and support them is just letting them know that I can't fix anything that I don't know about. So let's talk about it. Like, there's always a solution.
Right.
There's always a solution. And I this sounds odd, but COVID actually has been really beneficial, I think, for a lot of our people in our consulting business that travel a lot, that we're doing so much more work remotely now. And it gives them that flexibility to have this engaging career where they're doing very, very well with our clients, but also not be on the road all the time, which, as you know, is so challenging.
Yes. What is that, Monday, Thursday?
Yes, it was Monday, Thursday every week, and then COVID hit, and it's like, oh wow, hey, we figured out we can do this remotely.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
look what Zoom can do. So it's, but I really open door policy. Like, let's talk about, if you have a challenge, don't sit on it. Talk to me, because together we can solve it. Right.
But I wonder, what if, do you feel like that's something unique that you do? Like, what if I'm in a situation where I don't feel quite comfortable?
I hope not. I mean, I will say I've been fortunate enough. All of the team leads I have that kind of work underneath me are actually all women. It wasn't by design, but they're the best we have, right? And they're very, very good at their jobs. And I'm fortunate that they also, we all have blind spots, and so if they see something, brewing with a particular staff member, they'll pull me aside and say, hey, you might want to think about this, or you might need to talk to this person about this issue. So having that support team that you talked about, that's kind of got your back, they help me a lot. And so it works out really well, just having those confidants almost on your team.
I like that confidant.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Even though they work for me, like, we've worked together so long now that they can tell me anything, I can tell them anything, and they help me make sure that we've got the right balance across our team, and that people's needs are being met. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
That's very important. I like that.
Yeah.
That two-way communication.
Yeah, it's really important.
And getting into the audit piece of what you do, help us understand, like, what's the role of an auditor, and then what are some of the complexities in working in the life sciences industry. And I always think that is so highly regulated. Then I worked in finance, and I realized we care way more about our money than I thought.
Yeah, so as an auditor, I serve both public and private companies, and from all stages in life cycles, from startup all the way through to Fortune 10 public companies. So as an auditor, we're there evaluating the reasonableness of the financial statements. But from a life sciences perspective, I think some of the maybe complexities that aren't necessarily unique just to life sciences, but things that we see are around revenue recognition, around R&D costs, certain tax matters. There can be different debt and equity instruments that a company has that require different valuation considerations. So those are some things that we deal with in life sciences. And for me, having the right team of people around me with the experience and the skill sets to address each of those things, I don't have all the answers, but I have people on my team who can work through the challenges and be creative to our clients in terms of providing value-added understanding in some of those areas, and then doing the work that we need to from an audit perspective.
Right. Very traditional, regulated
Yeah.
area. How do you see the regulation component evolving, especially when you have things like machine learning, generative
Yeah.
AI, and just a different world that we're going into, I feel like right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's continually evolving, and the regulations will continue to advance and change as the technology changes. And I don't think we're fully there yet. Obviously, generative AI, there's a lot to think about from a governance perspective. In my audit client situations, there's a lot of discussion at the board level around how do we control use of AI, who's getting access, what does that mean from a cybersecurity perspective? All of those
Right.
types of things come into play that are a challenge and will just continue to evolve.
And it's coming fast and furious.
It is.
It is.
Because I was doing some research, and a lot of people are afraid to say, "Oh yeah, I am using AI at work."
Right.
Yeah.
But you do have other companies that are embracing it, building their
Absolutely.
own AI engine. And again, I can just see your role being a very important part of that conversation. Thank you for sharing that. It looked like you wanted to say something.
Well, so I think Bonnie summarized it well. I mean, it's a fast-moving area, and the life sciences industry is highly, highly regulated. And so when you have these capabilities that can simulate the human experience, and if you were to, ask a question to a life sciences organization about one of their products, could you have AI answer that instead of a human? Sure, you probably could, but how are the regulatory bodies going to look at that when you're giving out information about your products that's generated by AI? And so there's a lot of potential there. I think there's still a lot of uncertainty in how the regulatory authorities are going to approach this really rapidly changing technology.
So when you think about technology transformation, what are some of the most exciting advancements in the life sciences sector today?
Yeah,
to
well, a lot of it is around AI and generative AI. When I think about AI-enabled drug discovery, right? So using AI to discover molecules and how they're going to interact with the human body rather than doing, months and years of experimental science. That's very exciting because it has the potential to bring medicines to market so much quicker, right? And help patients. But then there's very kind of, I think, routine things around just optimizing processes within a life sciences organization. Life sciences companies create a ton of documentation. A lot of that documentation goes to the FDA or some regulatory authority, but assembling the documentation, creating it, making sure that it's all accurate and has the latest data in it is a very manually intensive process, or has been in the past. And being able to leverage AI to do 60, 70, 80% of that, right, is a huge benefit to these organizations. And so it's really exciting where we are. Like I said, there's a lot of regulatory oversight that kind of needs to be baked into a lot of this,
Right.
but the potential is just very exciting.
And I think about that because one of my big things with AI is bias.
And so I know a lot of organizations I'm working with are actually starting on the data side of things. Like, hey, let's get our data in order. Let's make sure it's clean, it's accurate, it's reflective of what we want to go into the AI engines. And then we'll turn the AI loose, so to speak.
Yeah. Do you have any success stories that you can share, like on a technology?
Yeah, I've got one I'll share with a client I'm working with right now, and it actually has to do with that regulatory filing kind of process where we're leveraging AI to greatly speed up how they compose regulatory documents that go to the FDA. There's always going to be a human in the loop, but being able to take a process down from 6 months to 2 months is pretty exciting. And without the technology, it really wouldn't have been possible. So it's an exciting time.
Awesome.
And I think one thing that does as well is it frees up individuals to be able to apply their skill set in different
Absolutely.
ways and work on more exciting,
More value add.
more value add.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Which has gotten quite a few people in the industry excited. I think that, oh wow, we can get rid of some of these administrative tasks that we're doing. and really focus on, the science at hand and helping
Right.
patients. And so there's a lot of energy and excitement about it.
That's good, instead of being afraid, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we only use a small portion of our brain and
Yeah.
becoming more creative and things like that. When you think about what's going on here in North Texas and the hub, you mentioned that you're trying to tag along with Bonnie now.
I am.
I wonder why.
Yeah. I'm a smart man.
What are some of the things that are happening here right in our own backyard from what you all see?
When you think about where we're located, we're central. It's easy to get here from either coast. We've got DFW that has cold chain capabilities that we don't have at every airport. So that's something special here. Just the number of companies that have been headquartering here. We've seen a number of those coming into the state in recent years. I think the cost of living, some of the incentives, tax situation here is favorable. And the research capabilities, the universities we have here, the growing lab space. There's so many different things. The infrastructure is coming around it, and I think that's what's exciting to see.
I agree, and I think when you look at, we've got right in our backyard a world-class academic medical center, right? And so you've got kind of researchers and people that want to do innovative things. And now we've got, with things like Pegasus Park, we've got the facilities and the lab space. And we've got, it looks like we've got the will and kind of funding and capital behind a lot of this because everything takes investment. And so all these different elements are coming together. And so it's a really exciting time in North Texas. And I know I've had several clients that are looking at, like, how do we get more capability in this area? Because it's attractive to their people. It's attractive from a recruiting standpoint. And now that we've got capability and facilities here, it's a really good move.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Yeah.
I think they'll, and hopefully, I know you have local clients. Do you feel that excitement with them at all?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. I think one thing that's interesting about this market is the collaboration. So it's fun to see. It's not all about competition. Obviously, that factor is always there, but there's an interest amongst all the different stakeholders in the ecosystem to see it succeed and move forward. And so I think companies see a lot of opportunity with that.
And what do you see yourself from a Deloitte perspective fostering that collaboration?
For sure, yeah. I mean, we want to be a convener and a supporter and a collaborator in the process and helping build professional relationships, make connections, bring people together for that purpose.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's more about, I think for Bonnie and I, more about our brand and how we're viewed as people that can facilitate kind of the process and bringing people together. Even if these organizations don't end up being our clients, that's fine with us. Like we want to be a part of this kind of wave of life sciences activity. Because it's exciting for us, and I think the reason we work in the life sciences industry is we believe in what they're doing. Right? At the end of the day, it's about helping patients, and so it's a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and I've seen you all around quite a bit, so that's awesome. When we're thinking about the life sciences industry, the next 5 to 10 years, what do you think are some of the most significant opportunities we have to improve patients' quality of lives and just to improve even like from an audit perspective as well?
Yeah. One thing that comes to mind, it's an opportunity and probably a challenge at the same time, is digital transformation and just the adoption of technology, using innovation to drive efficiencies like we talked about before. That creates a lot of opportunity, and then building the structure around that and the acceptance of that and dealing with regulation like you mentioned before obviously comes alongside, but there is a lot of opportunity to build in efficiencies and effectiveness.
I think digital is going to drive a lot of that. At the end of the day, it's how can we get life-saving medicines to patients faster, and I think the technology is going to be a big part of that. And then anything we learn more about how we can use the technology to analyze these medicines to figure out the patient populations that they're going to be best for. That's a pretty exciting area that's growing rapidly as well. So,
predictive analytics.
Predictive analytics.
So, oh my gosh, what is it called? Precision medicine. Yes.
I mean, it's pretty interesting stuff. I mean, you can imagine a future where a drug is formulated specifically for you. It already exists with certain therapies.
Like CAR T.
CAR T, yeah, CAR T. We
Yeah.
do quite a bit of work there, but that could be the kind of the normal way that drugs are administered going forward. So it's an exciting time.
Oh, speaking of, I don't know if we get, like GLP-1s. Why do you laugh, Ernest?
I think the obesity market is very popular right now. I think it will continue to be popular. And there are quite a few GLP-1s out on the market. There are quite a few organizations developing their own version of that. And so we're going to continue to hear about those for quite some time. And from everything I've been reading, there are quite a few additional benefits to taking them other than just the weight loss, right? It's just overall health.
Like Alzheimer's, you name it. It's, this cardiovascular, yeah.
So.
And I've worked in diabetes. It's like diabetes is the precursor to a lot of other, unfortunately, comorbidities. So, yeah, so it's exciting times. But that's all you hear: GLP-1s, GLP-1s, GLP-1s.
The topic du jour.
And for people that are listening to us today, and they want to make sure they're staying relevant in the next, iteration in the future, what are some of the things or trends that you all are seeing that folks in life sciences or that may not be in even life sciences should be focusing on or reading about?
I think anything individuals can do to increase kind of their AI fluency and how it's being applied within the industry. I probably don't have a single client that isn't really focusing on how they're going to leverage AI to change the way they operate, to change the way they bring medicines to market. And they're demanding that their employees get up to speed on it as quickly as possible. So
that's a shift. What happened?
Well, I think everyone sees the opportunity.
Okay.
You see, like there's this kind of big shiny object out there that we know can be transformational in how it impacts how organizations work. And so taking advantage of it, but taking advantage of it in the right way, right? And using it in a safe and smart and secure way is of utmost importance. And the expectation that I'm seeing is that everyone kind of gets upskilled on AI, how it can be used, how it shouldn't be used, because it's going to, be just embedded into everything we do going forward. So when I talk to people that I'm recruiting, I love it when I see that some of these young people are already just diving in headfirst into everything AI and getting very conversant in it.
Yeah, I would echo that. I think the same thing. From a hiring perspective, we're not hiring auditors. It's not all about accounting. It's it's the technology angle too, and understanding data, how to leverage data, and then all the various tools that go alongside that. We're fortunate that students are getting exposure to that. They're having projects and other things that really develop their skills in that way, so that they come in and they're ready to go.
Oh, that's fantastic. I remember the first time I was at a town hall and I asked about AI. You know who had given me the question? My little boy, BJ. Oh. I said, I'm going to this meeting. What should I ask? He said, ask them about AI. And after I did, people were like, oh my God, that was a couple of years ago. That was a great question. Yeah. So when I got home, I said, why did you tell me to do that? He said, I got it from Free Guy, the movie.
That's the thing.
He was probably, 8 years old?
Yeah, our kids are already, I think, much more conversant and aware of it than we are at times.
Yes.
My daughter's chat GPT, and they can get answers in 2 seconds, and so it's there for them. I think some of us
it's us.
More experienced people.
Yeah, season is the name. Yeah. Season is the word now. Season, yes, us seasoned folks, us 21-year-olds. Yes. And I just think that's very important. The other thing I wonder about, and I don't know if Deloitte does that a lot, but with the rise in AI is also the rise in that human-centric approach. And that humanity and leadership, that empathy that's more important, and that self-awareness that comes up. What are some of the things that your clients are asking about, or some of the tools that you all, or programs that you all are doing to make sure that we are keeping that human part in everything that we do?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and I think a lot of organizations are actually struggling with that a bit. And some of it goes to what you said earlier, Bonnie, about how can we work with our workforce on making sure we're pivoting them to the real value-add activities that we know only they can do. AI is not going to do this. You've got these years of experience in this education, and you've been doing this, something similar for many, many years. So how do we leverage your skills and talents to have you work on the value-added activities
Right.
that AI is never going to do well? The other thing we talk about quite a bit is, it's AI is a and, not an or. It's
I like that.
you and AI, not you or AI. There's always going to be a human in the loop. We're always going to need to bring, you to bring that humanity, that empathy, that nuance and understanding about something that only people can do, that machines don't do. When you're engaging with a process or something that uses AI. But there's a lot of change management to do around that, because you mentioned earlier the fear, like there's this fear of, AI is coming for my job, and I think it's incumbent upon us as we're working with AI to really reiterate that AI is here to help you do your job better, right? And you as an individual are still really, really important.
Right. You can't take away that professional judgment
You
that
can't.
a human
It's-
has.
Right.
And so that element is so important.
It
And I
is.
think you can kind of flip the script and point to it being something that allows them more flexibility in their ability to use their skills. And like you said before, take away the administrative stuff, and now they're focusing on where are the risks, what are the, the aspects that really draw on their personal understanding and skill set.
And there was, I was reminded of something. There was a statistic, and I can see if I can still remember the numbers. By the year 2030, half of the workforce that are in the lower echelon, those jobs will be replaced by AI, that's why there is a true concern. So we have to upskill and reskill our workforce so that they can compete. When I think about 2030, I guess BJ is on my mind today. He's in the 6th grade and he graduates in 2031. So that'll be here really soon, right? You mentioned also your people component of your role. What are some of the things that you think we can do to make sure that we still have those types of people engaged in our workforce?
I think a big piece of that is the teaming aspect, the in-person interaction. We are fortunate to be in a hybrid world where we can take advantage of technology and less travel and certain things like that, but you can't take away the advantage of an apprenticeship model where we're coming alongside our team members and helping them to develop. They're listening to the conversations, they're getting to hear how does this work, and so I think that piece of it is something that can't go away. We need to support our teams in person.
Yeah, and it's an interesting number. By 2030, many of those kind of lower end jobs might go away. I don't have any data supporting this, but I do think that there may be kind of a reverse reaction from some of the AI wave, where after a certain period of time, people are going to start craving more human-to-human interaction.
Yeah.
Right? I could see that being an outcome of.
You think so? How many
well-
people say don't leave me a voicemail,
Well,
text me?
but-
I remember the first time I heard that,
Yeah.
like, text you?
Yeah. But you're still texting with a human, right? And
Well,
so,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
And so I think we'll have to see how this plays out.
Yeah.
Clearly, AI is not going anywhere, and it's going to continue to be a bigger and bigger part of everything we do. But I don't think we'll ever get rid of needing people that have their unique talents and skills, and like you said, that empathy, that humanity, being able to understand the nuance of what engagement looks like with another person. We'll always need that.
Yes.
Well, and so much of what we do is based on relationship.
It
You
is.
can't take that out.
Oh,
You can't
yes.
take relationships out,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
right? It's so important. I started my career at IBM, and that was their thing: relationship.
Yeah.
And it's critical. And to really go back to that listening and understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah. And since you brought out the crystal ball,
Oh no.
honing in on North Texas as this blooming biotech hub, what are some of the things that you think we need to do or to take this to be a global player in the future? Not just regional, but global, on a global platform.
Yeah. I think we've got the ingredients for it already, and it is continuing to kind of spread the word. Let more and more companies across the globe really understand just what we have in terms of capabilities here.
I do think we have all the ingredients here for North Texas to become a global player in the life sciences and biotech space. In my experience, many of the life sciences organizations I've worked with are kind of fast followers. Like they want to see someone else do something first, and then they're all in. And so I really think like that one big kind of anchor organization, if we could get one located here, whether they set up a major kind of R&D operation here or a manufacturing operation where they're doing a lot of their manufacturing here, or some part of significant of their organization is here, then it creates this kind of center of gravity, right?
Yeah.
Where like, wow, that really big global company now has a significant presence in North Texas.
Right, they moved to the Texas Research Corridor.
It's right.
That's right.
The Solar Innovation
Right, and
Corridor.
it
Yes.
starts the snowball effect of
Yes.
other players moving down here,
That's
and that's how a lot of these biotech hubs have gotten started. Is you get kind of one big organization there, and whether you think about the West Coast or East Coast. So I think we're really close. We're really close. Yeah, all of the ingredients are here, and I think it's probably going to happen in a matter of years, a couple of years from now.
All right, that's the crystal ball from Ernest. Bonnie, looks like you wanted to add something.
No, I would agree. I think we have all the ingredients here, and it's just a matter of the players around the globe understanding that and recognizing that. I think we're starting to become the third coast, right?
Oh, I
Everyone
like
always
that.
thinks of both
Yes.
of the
Okay.
East and West Coast, but Texas is becoming much more recognized in that
Yeah.
space. And it's just a matter of time before that really takes off.
I love that. I love that. We're coming toward the end of our time. Is there anything that you all wanted to share that we have not covered yet?
No, I'm just thankful for you for having these kinds of conversations, because I think the more awareness we create around the energy here in North Texas, around the life sciences space and the opportunity for individuals, like Bonnie said, it's getting the word out. And so I think this is a big part of getting that word out. So we appreciate you having us.
Yeah, thank you
Thank you for
coming.
shining a spotlight
Yeah.
on North
Yes.
Texas. Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you all for accepting the invitation to be on the Acuity Plus
Absolutely.
Acumen podcast. And my last question for each of you, and you decide who wants to go first, because I think we're in a pivotal moment here. When you look back in 10 years and you're talking to your nieces, your nephews, your cousins, your kids, or some student at a school, what would you like for your legacy to be in your role in this blooming biotech industry in North Texas?
That's a great question.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately that I helped people be successful.
Yeah.
I mean, that's I think it's probably less about our success at this point, but like, how do we set up this blooming biotech area for the next generation? Because I think in 10, 15 years, it's going to be going gangbusters, right? And so if there's something we can do here
Yeah.
right now to set it up for success going forward, I would love to have that legacy. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, totally agree. How do we foster it and bring other people along
Yeah.
behind us?
Right. Again, lifting as you climb.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
I'm not bad at all. Well, thank you all so much again for being on the Acuity Plus Acumen podcast. Bonnie, I appreciate you greatly, and Ernest, I appreciate you as well. And to our listeners, thank you so much for joining us today. We really learned a lot from Bonnie and Ernest, from the perspective of leadership to innovation and just the life sciences industry in general. And if you enjoyed today's discussion, we encourage you to subscribe to Acuity Plus Acumen on your favorite podcast platform. Until next time, this is Acuity Plus Acumen, where we illuminate leadership and inspire change. Take care. Woo! That is a wrap on today's conversation with Bonnie Jarecke and Ernest Horany. From navigating complex audits in a fast-moving industry to leveraging technology for transformation, their insights remind us why leadership and strategic innovation are key to shaping the future of biotechnology. Deloitte continues to play a vital role in helping life sciences companies tackle challenges and seize opportunities. If today's discussion resonated with you, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode of Acuity Plus Acumen with your network. Until next time, keep leading, keep innovating, and keep inspiring change. Take care.